Добрый вечер, уважаемые друзья, дорогие дамы и господа.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to welcome you to the International Buddhist Forum here in Ulan-Ude, Republic of Georgia, Russia. Our forum has brought together leaders of international Buddhist community, politicians from the Buddhist countries of the world, Republic of Buryatia is the gateway of Russia to Asia, and it became the place where we can address global discussions on the issues of discussions. We have held public discussions, and they were giving new revelations. We have signed agreements between 3 Russian universities about formation of Buddhist educational programs. Traditional Sangha of Russia is sponsoring this event along with the government of Russia. This forum became a platform for discussion of representatives of 14 countries. Please welcome them. That is Russia, India, China, Mongolia, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Bhutan, Cambodia, Czechia, and Belarus. The sunny and hospitable Republic of Buryatia is located nearby the Lake Baikal. And we're welcoming you with the next statement in Buryatian. Amaringe, welcome to Buryatia. Ladies and gentlemen, for the honorable opening of International Buddhist Forum, Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges, we would like to invite to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite Deputy Speaker, Chairman of the State Duma of the Russian Federal Assembly, the lower house of Russian Parliament, Hasikov Batu, the head of Republic of Kalmykia, the first Deputy Chair of the Federation Council Committee on Social Policy, Senator, Federation Council on Federal Assembly of Russian Federation, Mr. Gurevich, Mr. Velikjanin, Deputy Chief for Internal Policy Department, Administration of the President of the Russian Federation, dear friends, now we can hear that President of Russia, Vladimir, has made his address, and I will ask one of the speakers today to read the address from the President, Vladimir Putin. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, international participants of the event, international guests. Today I am honored to read the formal address of the Russian President to the President, by the President Vladimir Putin, to the participants of the First International Buddhist Forum. Dear friends, I welcome you on the opening of the International Buddhist Forum in Ulan-Ude, the capital of the Republic of Buryatia. Buddhism, its culture and traditions had a great impact on the formation of Russia as multi-religious and multi-ethnic state. It has played a truly unique role in the formation of integrated and unified nation and become a high spiritual and moral reference point for hundreds of thousands of people. It is gratifying that the current generation of followers of this ancient religion carefully preserve its enduring values, its richest historical and cultural heritage of the ancestors, and direct their efforts to harmonize interreligious and interethnic dialogue, strengthening peace and harmony in our country. Today, representatives of regions whose residents traditionally profess Buddhism make a heroic contribution to solving the task of special military operation. Their relatives and friends, in their rare support of their defenders, pay tireless attention to helping the wounded people and their families of the fallen soldiers. Of course, I would like to note that the activities of the Buddhist community in Russia contribute to strengthening of international contact. This is clearly evidenced by your forum, which brought together participants from different countries. I am convinced that the forum will be held in an atmosphere of friendship and mutual understanding, will become a platform for discussing a wide range of issues related to the development of Buddhism, its philosophy, and practice. I wish you successful work and all the best.
Для оглашения послания председателя правительства Российской Федерации Мишустина Михаила Владимировича и приветствия участников.
Now, I would like to give the floor to the speaker who will be reading the address by Prime Minister of Russian Federation, Mr. Mishustin.
Let me allow to welcome you on behalf of the head of the government of the Russian Federation to Alexei Tsidenov, the head of the Buryatia Republic. Dear head of the Republic Buryatia, Alexei Tsidenov, dear friends, I welcome you to the International Buddhist Forum in the Republic of Buryatia, a region that is located at the crossroads of religions and civilizations, is one of the designated centers of Russian Buddhism and is famous for its unique historical and cultural traditions. Today, city of Ulan-Ude unites representatives of religious and non-governmental organizations, government officials and scholars from Russia and from foreign countries. This significant event is taking place for the first time and is an important international event. The forum is a unique platform that allows participants to conduct a dialogue, exchange opinions and experiences, expand interaction, discuss relevant issues of preserving the world's oldest religions, as well as its culture, philosophy and practice. The Russian government pays the closest attention to supporting traditional Russian Buddhism and strengthening cooperation with religious organizations. A vivid example of this is the great work that has been carried out within the framework of the programs of the Foundation for the Promotion of Buddhist Education and Research. I am convinced that the topic of the International Forum will be of great interest and will be the subject of lively discussions. And the decisions taken here will give a new impetus to the development of state-confessional relations and cooperation between countries professing Buddhism. I wish you fruitful work and bright meetings. With respect, Prime Minister of Russia, Mr. Mikhail Mishustin. Dear friends, I think it will be right if I'm continuing my welcoming addresses because I was assigned by the Council of Federation as representative of the State Duma. We have been supported by the government of the Republic of Buryatia, the government of the Russian Federation, to conduct the International Buddhist Forum here in Buryatia. Represents a unique and a very bright opportunity to congratulate you on behalf of the State Duma to welcome you with such a great event. I'm following the Buddhism myself, and we have a lot of the members of parliament who are Buddhists, and we would like to thank you for your fruitful discussions. And I'm very pleased to acknowledge the fact that the first day of our forum was marked by friendships, although the participants who came to the forum are representing different canons of Buddhism and coming from different countries all the world, but the discussions were very fruitful. The nerve of the discussion is focused on finding the truthful solutions, and I am confident that that Buddhism will support all reforms in dealing with modern challenges. I believe that Buddhism as a religion is the foundation for compassion, for understanding between the peoples, between the countries, and the discussion panels which we have specifically established to cover all the topical subjects of the agenda of our forum, giving opportunity to Buddhist followers to go into depth of the discussions. And I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart the head of the Republic of Buryatia, Alexei Tsidenov, who was not able to join us today, unfortunately, because he is in Moscow, participating in the State Council meeting representing Buryatia as a part of our big countries. As you all very well aware of the fact, Governor Tsidenov is one of the most efficient and successful heads of the subjects of the Russian Federation, but he passed his best regards, and he asked me to pass the best regards for the participants of International Buddhist Forum, Buddhist, under the title of Buddhism, Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges. Buddhism is a religion which is 1,000 years, over 1,000 years old, have found many answers to most acute problematic issues of the modern times, and based on the great heritage of this religion. And I heard that among the major decisions which you are promoting during the work of this forum is to overcome the illiteracy, overcome the general ignorance that you are dealing with globalistic agendas. My ancestors, who were professing Buddhism for many centuries, were able to keep this tradition, their habits, their territory, their people, their nation. We are the part of the big Russia, of the great Russia, and we are representing a very solid society. Our state is famous for its internationalism, respect to various confessions, and that's why among the participants of the forum there are not only Buddhists but also Orthodox Christians, our brothers representing Islam. This is our philosophy of life. That's how we live here in our country. We are welcoming our international guests. The Buddhist world is represented by the great country of India, with a population of over 1.5 million people. China, People's Republic of China, with a similar number of population. And other countries. I have recently visited Myanmar. It's a very interesting and hospitable country. Over 97% of the population profess Buddhism. Myanmar is striving for the future, and I was very pleased to hear from the head of the government of Myanmar that in spite of all the sanctions which might be imposed in future on Russia, we will support Russia, because Russia is one of the few countries in the world who is able to keep its tradition, its heritage, its culture and its pride. There are representatives from more than 14 countries of the world who came to participate at the forum venues, and we are very thankful to them for finding an opportunity to come to the forum. And we are the part of the world. We are not closing our doors to international guests. We are ready to meet them. We are ready to hug all our brothers and who came to discuss acute issues and participate in dialogues under the umbrella of the International Buddhist Forum. And I'm very happy that the Republic of Buryatia became a center of international Buddhism gathering, and head of the Republic of Buryatia, Alexei Tsedanov, who initiated this forum, will be supported by other Buddhist republics of the Russian Federation, such as Republic of Khakassia, because potential of this forum is far beyond the scope of the discussions which we are involved today. I wish you good luck and success.
Now, we would want to give you the welcoming address of the Speaker of the Upper House of Russian Federation. Today I will want to speak on behalf of Madam Valentina Matvienko, the Speaker of the Federation Council of the Federal Assembly of Federal Legislation. And we are so happy that our land has become a place for these great new emotions. I am very honored to speak on behalf of Valentina Matvienko, the Speaker of Upper House, to the participants of International Buddhist Forum. On behalf of the Upper House of the Russian Parliament, and on my personal behalf, I welcome the participants of the International Buddhist Forum, Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges. Ensuring the well-being and prosperity of humankind is impossible without establishing a mutually respectful dialogue between world religions. Russia is interested in expanding and strengthening of relations with countries that traditionally profess Buddhism. It is so symbolical that the first International Buddhist Forum, Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges, is being held in the Republic of Buryatia. The region is not only a recognized center of Buddhist culture, but also a vivid example of a comfortable coexistence of various peoples and religions. The objectives of the forum invoke interests, including the creation of international platform for comprehensive discussion of the role of Buddhism in contemporary world, giving a new impetus to scholarly, educational, and cultural cooperation. I am convinced that the powerful intellectual potential of the forum participants, represented by leaders of international Buddhist communities, scholars, government public figures, and their focus on the result will help to find new approaches to solving global issues of our time. I sincerely wish you interesting meetings, fruitful discussions, creative and scientific achievements. Madam Valentina Matvienko, the Speaker of the Upper House of Russian Parliament. We also have Minister of Foreign Relations from Russia, and his welcome address would be read by Governor Hasikov.
Senbainu, dear brothers and sisters, I welcome all the guests, all colleagues and friends to this forum, and I'm very honored to read the welcoming address on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, Sergei Lavrov. I welcome the organizers and participants of the first International Buddhist Forum, Traditional Buddhism and the Modern Challenges. This innovative initiative of the government of the Republic of Buryatia was supported by the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia and the Foundation for the Promotion of Buddhist Education and Research. I'm glad that religious figures, politicians, scientists, and the general public from different countries take part in the forum. It is especially valuable for us that the event takes place in Russia, a state of civilization where representatives of various confessions live in peace and harmony. I'm sure that your meeting will contribute to the promotion of traditional, spiritual, and moral values in society, and increase the interaction of state and religious institutions. And of course it will contribute to the development of intercultural dialogue, maintaining an atmosphere of friendship, trust and mutual understanding between peoples. I wish you fruitful discussions and all the best. Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, Sergei Lavrov. Dear friends, I would like to congratulate you, all of you, on behalf of people of Kalmykia and myself. I would like to underscore the role of the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, for his special attention towards the development of towards Buddhism, and he many times underscored the fact that Russia has been always open for dialogue. I would like to thank the Foundation for the Promotion of Buddhist Education and Research for their support, and me as a head of the Republic of Kalmykia, and Sanjin Lama, the head Lama of the Republic of Kalmykia, with great pleasure and desire started to implement the idea of conducting the forum in Buryatia in order to strengthen our cooperation with foreign countries. I would like to underscore the importance of this forum, because this is the first event of such caliber. Based on my personal experience, I understand how difficult it is, and I would like to thank the head of the Republic of Buryatia, Alexei Tsedanov, for his support and for his teams, for the work of his team, because this event is not only important for the Republic but also for the whole country, because it's aimed on establishing and strengthening the friendship between peoples of Russia and peoples around the world. As Senator Karaol told in his speech, all people must live in harmony and in peace. I think that today's event is the new impetus for and a new stage for the development of Buddhism in Russia and all around the world. I wish you great success. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you very much. I would like to draw your attention to the screen.
Now, dear participants, we will hear address from the President of Republic of Buryatia. Dear participants and guests of the Russian International Buddhist Forum, welcome to Russia, welcome to Buryatia. Buryatia is the center of Buddhism in Russia. The center of traditional Buddhist Sangha of Russia is located in Buryatia, in Evangelsky Ratsan, the largest religious complex. There is a Buddhist shrine in Buryatia, the incorruptible body of Pandita Hamda Lama Dasha Durjo Tagilov. Buryatia is a place with a home to only lifetime image of Shakyamuni Buddha, the statue of Zadanju. The Republic has one of the largest collection of Oriental, Chinese, Tibetan, and Indian manuscripts, which have been studied for over 100 years. There is an atlas of Tibetan medicine available for use and for study, based on which new medicines and new practices for improving and preserving healthy longevity are being developed today. Buddhism is professed, taught, and studied in Buryatia. The Institute of Mongolian, Buddhist, and Tibetan Studies of the Russian Academy of Sciences has been operating in the Republic of Buryatia for over 100 years. The forum in the Republic of Buryatia will allow all of us to share experiences, to discuss matters of vital importance, to determine the prospects for our cooperation and actions for the benefit of our countries and our peoples. I wish all of us to live in accordance with the canons of Buddhism, with the traditions of Buddhism, so that our world would be free from greed, hatred, and ignorance. All the best to everyone. And now we would want to invite international speakers. Extraordinary Plenipotentiary Ambassador of Thailand, Sasivat Sasivat, Ambassador of Sri Lanka in Russian Federation, Madam Janita Bebekrema, Deputy Head of Chinese Association in Yonghaebun, Mr. Hu Xiufeng, Secretary of State, Deputy Minister of Culture and Religion of Cambodia, Mr. Sein Am Nan, Deputy Chairman of the National Front of Laos, Sun Khamatron Chathatron, Deputy Chairman of the Supreme State Committee in the Buddhist Sangha of Myanmar, Honorable Mr. Sanhamas and Vamsa, and Hamba Lama of Mongolia would also be read to us today. I would like to give the floor to dear Mr. Sasivat Longsing Savat.
Достопочтенные монахи,
ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. I'm honored and blessed to participate in this International Buddhist Forum, which is held for the first time to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the Republic of Buryatia. The theme of the forum, Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges, is highly relevant to today's world that has become vulnerable from unprecedented challenges and uncertainties. For this reason, allow me to express my congratulations to the government of the Republic of Buryatia, the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia, the Foundation for the Support of Buddhist Education and Research, as well as other partners for organizing this meaningful event. And as a Buddhist myself, I agree with many revered scholars who classify Buddhism as not just a religion, but also philosophy and science. Buddhist core values and principles are universal and timeless. Buddhist philosophy offers ways for us to work on our mind, emotions, attitudes, and perception toward all happenings in order to eliminate sufferings and unhappiness in life. In a broader context, Buddhist teachings and principles can minimize use of deconstructive method and actions that may lead to conflicts. Therefore, Buddhism can promote harmony, peace, and solidarity to overcome global challenges at present time and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, with participants from various religious and academic entities, I am convinced that this three-day forum will be a success with extensive discussion and exchange of views. I wish you all fruitful deliberation on how Buddhism can be applied to prevent and tackle modern challenges and ease sufferings for human beings. But let me conclude by inviting all of you to visit an exhibition named In the Land of the Emerald Buddha, which is displaying at the National Museum of the Republic of Buryatia until the 3rd of September this year. The exhibition comprises of over 170 pieces of art and paintings by Russian artists, depicting Buddhism in Thailand and Thai way of life that have been transpired by Buddhist teachings and principles for many centuries. I hope that those artworks will give you an inspiration to travel to Thailand, as well as the reflection of how much Buddhism is relevant to the life of the people in my country. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ
К микрофону приглашается госпожа Леонага Джанита Абевкрейма.
Everyone. The most venerable sirs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of Dhamma. It is with deep respect and honor that I express my kind thoughts and well wishes for organizing this event. This is the Buddhist era 2567, commonly 2023. We gather in recognition to celebrate important milestones in our journey together. My sincere gratitude goes to the organizers of this event for inviting me and the Sri Lanka delegations for this important event. As we all know, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, designated to be the greatest religious teacher of the world, was born in a Vesak day. Though brought up in laps of luxury, he clearly understood sorrow of humanity, and after a supreme human struggle of years, unaided and unguided, but with his own efforts and wisdom, eradicated all defilements in the process of grasping, realizing pain as true they are on his own knowledge, on the full moon Vesak day, and then he became Buddha, the enlightened one. He was not born as a Buddha, but he became the Buddha. So for 45 years, the Buddha taught and worked for good and happiness of all beings of human and others, and passed away also on a full moon day of Vesak. Leaving to his disciplines and doctrine and as they only he is a only teacher. The teaching complements and emphasizes the importance of integration of human activities in Madhyama Pratipada, the moderate or middle path, which collectively protects and serves all ecology. As we are gathered here in Buryata, it is an important milestone in our journey as Buddhists, gathered from all parts of the globe, for fostering and propagating the teaching of enlightened ones. As over 1/5 of population of today's world regards the Buddha as the supreme teacher. It is a delight to observe that, again, the interest of the world to understand deeply how Buddhist wisdom can cope with global crisis and thereby bring fresh remedies for a new way of forward. All of us who are gathered here understand that mindful citizens across today's world engage in enlightened discussions in Buddha's responses to sustainable development, to social change, to global warming, to environmental protection, to healthy living, to peace building, to post-conflict recovery, and similar discussions. Of course, there is no greater crisis than samsara, this endless cycle. This, the enlightened one, mindful, critically analyze through the application of cause and effect, realizing the true nature of things as they truly are, then understood the middle path as the only moderate, pragmatic way forward, and the need of mindful be engaged with one's self in the path until decision of the end was reached. As Buddha and the taught, as Buddhists of us, every other crisis is only a new opening to engage solving and managing issues with a fresh state of mind. A lifelong engagement in deep, thoughtful establishment of practices towards caring for the environment, human, animal, and plants was founded by the Enlightened One. The importance of being content is only echoed in Buddha's teaching, underlining the responsible and moderate use of time and resources for human progress. Wisdom words of health is the greatest wealth was taught 2600 years ago to the world by Enlightened One. It was Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, who began the greatest revolution of history of mankind by challenging and revolution, then established social structure towards responsible upliftment of individuals and society's sustainability through the moderate path. Today, we are meeting after a global pandemic of unpredicted scale, where loss of human lives was counted in millions in all corners of the world, of all walks of life, from affluent to a poor. It opened minds to the world to realize that no longer serving through material wealth alone was possible, and overcoming the crisis so such magnitude was only through collective reach out in service of others. Aftermath of pandemic was soon followed a global economic crisis, contributing to a tremendous slowdown of economic activity around the world, pushing more people below the poverty lines. This includes families consisting children, elderly, women, and other vulnerable sections of the society. This scarcity of essential across the road, neither governments, private sector, nor any establishment was able to find a reasonable solution yet. Sri Lanka, in the last 12 months, have let go of decades-long extreme economic policies and have adopted the central path. This has tremendously helped Sri Lanka to grow great resilience and regain global confidence to continue sheer ahead in the central path. Gautama, the Buddha, in Anguttara Nikaya talked about indebtedness. The meaning of the word anna is debt-free. If an individual or a nation could live anana or debt-free, the individual of the country could attain 4 kinds of happiness. Atta Sukha, happiness of ownership of wealth by rightness meanings. Bhoga Sukha, happiness of using the wealth so earned properly. Anana Sukha, happiness of being debt-free. And Anavajja Sukha, happiness of leading a blameless life. That is the culmination of happy state. Therefore, let this august assembly unanimously call for a universal moderation of any similar remedy on all debt and serviceable financial commitment accumulated in nations as a result of unpredicted COVID pandemic, which was never heard, been, or imagined by humankind. This is fundamentally the most ethical relief that could be granted of millions of worried minds of world over. We have to have an economic policy providing a linkage between Buddhism and sustainable development. This is a unique sustainable framework where sufficient economic philosophy, society, and environment, which has been extended to public, private, and citizen organizations. Therefore, clearly Buddhism is showing way to the world how this fundamentally most essential crisis has to be met with fresh state of mind, where historical wisdom and practices must be discovered essentially for the world's future. The Buddhist tradition is the most sought after wisdom in the world. Relations between Russia and Sri Lanka are moreover millennia. As Buddhists, we must further strengthen great free movement or mobility and interaction among our nations. The other important essential in the world over were the future. The youth, both girls and boys, are nurtured in the most wholesome education, focusing the humane aspect in global scale and mindfulness in the modern civilization. And I heard that Buryata is having many religions, many nations, and living in a harmony. So, on behalf of the government of Sri Lanka, I wish to inform this gathering that Sri Lanka is planning to host the 19th UN Day of Vesak in 2024, May. So I invite you all to attend this important event in Sri Lanka. May all beings be safe, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, and may blessings of the Noble Triple Gem be with you all. Give me 1 minute. I would like to invite our Secretary of the Ministry of Cultural and Religious Affairs, Mr. Somaratna Vidhanapatirana, to present a token of appreciation to the organizers of this event, the main organizer, the first Deputy Chairman of the Government of the Republic of Buryata, Mr. V.V. Mukhin. Thank you very much.
Для приветствия к микрофону приглашается господин Ху Сюэфэн.
We would like to invite Mr. Hu Xiaofan for his welcoming address.
Выступление мое сегодняшнее называется «Пользуйтесь возможностью и моментом. Живите в соответствии с требованиями современности, способствуйте новым традиционным возможностям». Title of the presentation, taken event. Requirements of modernity and contributing to the new development of traditional Buddhism. Grand Lama Hu Xiaofang, Vice President of Chinese Buddhist Association. Dear organizers, Buddhist clergymen and guests, I wish everyone good luck for this forum. It is a great honor for me to be invited to this beautiful Republic of Buryatia to participate in this International Buddhist Forum. The Republic of Buryatia is one of the world's Buddhist cultural centers, and it plays an important role in promoting Buddhism and strengthening exchanges and cooperation in the Buddhist community. On the occasion of 100th anniversary of the founding of the Republic of Buryatia, we have gathered here from all parts of the world, speaking different languages and representing different cultures, to talk about sincere friendship and to exchange our ideas. The forum will undoubtedly bring fruitful results. Here, on behalf of the Chinese Buddhist Association and the Chinese Buddhist Delegation, I would like to express my sincere wishes to Buddhist clergymen from all parts of the world and guests from all walks of life who came to the forum. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia, the government of the Republic of Buryatia, as well as the Foundation for Promotion of Buddhist Education and Research, which together organize this forum, along with the people from all walks of life who supported and helped organizing the forum. Over the long history of human civilization, Buddhism has left humankind a significant and rich cultural and precious spiritual heritage due to its own proliferation and development. An important question of how traditional Buddhism can adapt to modern society and the process of changes associated with the continuous progress and development of society. How can we preserve Buddhism's significant inner strength? Answering these questions is very difficult and urgent task that Buddhism is facing today. I have the following three thoughts on this subject that I would like to share with you. The first thought is that it is necessary to preserve the truth and to introduce innovations to meet the requirements of modernity while promoting the era of traditional Buddhism. The process of spreading and developing Buddhism that has taken its root and that is bearing fruits in China is the result of active adaptation to the needs of time and social changes. Historically, the development of Buddhism is inseparable from its timing. Chinese Buddhism was able to adjust to its own doctrines and teaching systems in different historical periods in a timely manner and in accordance with different political, economic, cultural, and social conditions and development. Traditional Buddhism meets the requirements of modernity, acting in accordance with the situation, and it benefits from it. While preserving the basic foundations of Buddhism, we continue to innovate Buddhist theory and practice and to give realistic interpretations of its doctrines and canons. All these are the questions of time which we live in, which is about our role in history and about the responsibility of each person in the Buddhist world. Traditional Buddhism will not cease to flourish and to proliferate, as it has already entered the mainstream of development of modernity. The second thought is that this is necessary to take the initiative in striving to change, to meet the requirements of modernity, and to contribute to the local adaptation of traditional Buddhism. After Buddhism has spread around China, after a long period of time, it adapted and integrated into traditional Chinese culture and became an important part of this culture. Historically, Chinese monks were able to incorporate elements of traditional Chinese culture into the translation and interpretation of sacred Buddhist scriptures and used written text and ways of thinking of traditional culture to build a Buddhist system of thinking in a Chinese society. Traditional Buddhism meets the requirements of modernity. It actively recognizes changes and adapts to them, as it takes the elements of the wealth and traditional culture, further enriching local and modern elements with various aspects, such as public lectures or the reflection of religiosity in the architectural art, which gradually led to the formation of distinctive local features and characteristics from the point of view of both doctrines and traditions, and from the point of view of the etiquette, customs, and norms of behavior. Traditional Buddhism integrates with the local culture, giving it a new and vital strength. The third thought is that we need to keep up with the time and to meet the requirements of modernity in order to promote the socialization of traditional Buddhism. There's a beautiful expression in Buddhism that dharma exists in the world and it does not leave the world. Buddhist culture is rooted into a local community. Thank you very much for listening to me carefully. Thank you so much.
I would like to give a floor to State Secretary of Cambodia, Mr. Say Amnan.
In the names of Cambodian delegation, Kingdom of Cambodia, it is with pleasure to express our appreciation for hospitality provided to my delegation by Venerable monks and the people of the Republic of Buryatia, Russia. We are so honored and pleased to be invited to this first International Buddhist Forum under the important theme of traditional Buddhism and modern challenges on one hand, and as way to find out a new platform for Buddhist dialogue and comprehensive discussion of the development of Buddhism, Buddhist culture, philosophy, and practice. And on the other hand, as a means to strengthen the tie of friendship, solidarity among Buddhist world to be more closer and stronger in our cooperation. The theme of traditional Buddhism and modern challenges, which we are going to discuss in the first International Buddhist Forum here, is seen as much necessary and most suited to the time, which will not only reflect the growth and respect to Buddhism, but also respond to the necessity and demand of Buddhist world to be united in sharing and building the world with peace and harmony through common aspiration and action, exchange, mutual learning based on the principle of mutual tolerance and understanding with the right path of the Lord Buddhas. In this end, I strongly believe that this forum will lead to a new exchange of ideas, experience, as well as sharing of knowledge among partners involved toward finding a problem and establish new shape of platform or any mechanism to address the modern challenges through traditional practice of Buddhism. Venerable monks, ladies and gentlemen, in Cambodia, the revival of traditional Buddhism started from the dark age of Pol Pot regime in 1979. Everything was completely demolished, including social infrastructure, such as road, bridge, school, hospital, and religious building and temple. Monks and other religious men were forced to disrobe and work in torture, to starving, and more than that. 3 million people were massacred, leaving behind many thousands of widows and orphans in society. But following the defeat of the Khmer Rouge, traditional Buddhism initially established in Cambodia. In 1981, one of our members, His Holiness Samdech Tivong, is the chief of Mahanikaya order, and later with the reformation of Dhammayutta Nikaya order, His Holiness Bukri is currently the head of the sect. Currently, there are more than 700,000 of Buddhist monks with more than 5,000 temples across the countries. Cambodia is a kingdom with a king ranks under the constitution. The kingdom adhere to policy of free market, respect of human rights. The country is under the broad leadership of our current Prime Minister Hun Sen, especially with his win-win policy of Buddhism, have regained peace, stability, and freedom of beliefs from a standing of devastated war and internal conflict for more than 3 decades. And among the 17 million of Cambodia, there consists of more than 30 ethnic groups. However, they live in peace and harmony together in unity among our Buddhism. Buddhism is a state religion mentioned in our constitution, but nonetheless, full freedom of rights and religious belief provided to others. Kingdoms have taken a high value toward Buddhism by enshrining it into the national motto as nation, religion, king, in ambition to push forward the co-development, and mutual fulfillment. For Cambodia, religion have contributed to so much to the development and maintain peace and order. As evident, religion have taught the mass to be honest, frank, and to know what is wholesome and unwholesome, as well as showing the path leading to cessation of suffering, liberation of oneself from sin and wholesome, refraining from hatred, delusion, and greed, going forth with realization of Nippanas. In its true sense, the government urge and support all religions in Cambodia to practice their own religion in co-adherence to its genuine discipline and teaching in order to share part in its achievement to build a just society with refraining from all violence, discrimination, in consensus with mutual understanding. Despite the state sponsor in all the projects work in the field of Buddhism, there's still yet many things to be filled up with this. For example, quality of Buddhist education, Buddhist community development, Buddhist network information, social engagement, preservation of Buddhist heritage, site, monument, and protection of environment, and also to raise awareness among the youth and lay society. Otherwise, we will be able to cope up with the new challenges by a new wave of conversion to other religions. Therefore, in order to solve the problem facing by modern Buddhism, we recommend to set up a kind of international network for all, a platform whereby we could meet, share, or address our common challenges together. Lastly, let me express our heartfelt appreciation once again to Most Venerable Monk, to the people of Buryatia, Russia, and to the sponsor of this organization for organizing a marvelous and fruitful our gathering here. May the four blessings of the Lord Buddha be upon your Most Venerable Monk delegate. I once again wish the International Buddhist Forum in Ulan-Ude, the Republic of Buryatia, Russia, achieve a fruitful result. Thank you.
Гостей и участников приветствует уважаемый Синамат-Монтри Чатхалон.
Honorable dignitaries, most venerable Buddhist Sangha, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Stassuye. On behalf of the delegation of Lao Front for National Development, I would like to express my sincere thanks and profound gratitude to the government of the Republic of Buryatia, the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia, as well as the Foundation for the Promotion of Traditional Buddhist Education and Research for the kind invitation and warmest hospitality extended to us since our arrival in the beautiful Ulan-Ude, one of the world centers of Buddhist culture, the center of Russian Buddhism. My delegation is full of support, very honored, and highly appreciate the first forum, as it is a significant and innovative platform for international dialogue under the theme Traditional Buddhism and the Challenges of Modernity. Firstly, the forum is held as part of celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Republic of Buryatia. Secondly, the forum aims to develop scientific, educational, cultural cooperation between Buddhist organizations from different countries. Buddhism came to existence over 2,560 years ago. It spread in 3 general waves or so from India to many countries throughout Asia. And in each country, each civilization that it encountered, it was understood and adopted to that culture. These countries are known as traditional Buddhist countries. In recent times, there has been an interest and a movement of Buddhism in Western countries, known as non-traditional Buddhist countries. Buddhist challenges in modern time may arise, for instance, among Buddhist Sangha and lay devotees with believers of other religions. Another challenge may be the wrong use of cell phones, computers, televisions, media, internet, and so on. That may absorb much time from meditation or concentration on traditional Buddhist practice. In order to overcome challenges in the future, I strongly believe that this forum will play an important role in unifying religious and cultural role in the spread of the Buddhist religion, in strengthening international interaction of Buddhists, and establishing ties with other countries through cultural exchanges. Your most venerable excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Laos is a small country in Southeast Asia where nearly 70% of its population believe in Buddhism. For many centuries, Theravada Buddhism has considerable influence on spiritual thinking and culture of the Lao people. Buddhist Sangha in Laos is unified in one organization known as the Lao Buddhist Fellowship Organization, which plays an important role in diffusing the Lord Buddha's teachings and mobilizing Lao people to participate in the cause of national socio-economic development and national defense. Laos and Russian Federation established diplomatic relations in 1960s, established Russian-Lao Friendship Association in 1965. Since then, our long-lasting, cooperative, bilateral relations have been increasingly developed, especially in the area of key development sectors and priority projects in socio-economic development, poverty reduction, human resources development, and military cooperation. The Lao PDR and the Federation of Russia have supported each other in all aspects in regional and international arena, and is about to upgrade its bilateral cooperation into long-lasting, all-round strategic partnership. May I conclude my speech by wishing this forum a fruitful success. Thank you very much. Spasiba большое.
Гостей и участников форума приветствует достопочтимый Самварабхивасма.
Russia Federation, Ulidia Nanga, Nangano Ajigamia, Nangano, Nanga Boda Bala, Twison Suni Wedu, ကြွရောက်လာကြသောနိုင်ငံအသီးသီးမှဆရာတော်များနှင့်နိုင်ငံတကာဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာပညာရှင်များဂုဏ်သေးရှိလူကြီးမင်းများနှင့်ဧည့်သည်တော်များကိုယ်စိတ်နှပြချမ်းသာချမ်းသာကြပါစေကြောင်းရှေးဥစွာနှုတ်ခွန်းဆက်သလိုက်ရပါတယ်
First of all, I would like to send my greetings to Buddhist leaders from Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia and the leader of Republic of Georgia, the venerable members of Sangha, Buddhist scholars, Excellency and distinguished guests who are present at this International Buddhist Forum and wishing you good health and happiness.
ဆရာတော်သည်ပြည်ထောင်စုသမ္မတမြန်မာနိုင်ငံတော်အစိုးရနှင့်မြန်မာပြည်သံဃာထုတရားလုံး၏ကိုယ်စားနိုင်ငံတကာဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာတွေ့ဆုံဆွေးနွေးပွဲသို့တွေ့ရောက်ခွင့်ရခဲ့တာကိုအလွန်ဝမ်းမြောက်ဝမ်းသာဖြစ်ရပါတယ်
I am very pleased to have the opportunity to personally attend the conference on behalf of the government of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar and entire members of Sangha of Russia, Myanmar.
ယခုကျင်းပတဲ့နိုင်ငံတကာဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာတွေ့ဆုံဆွေးနွေးပွဲကြီးဟာမြို့ပလာဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာနှင့်ခေတ်သစ်စိန်ခေါ်မှုများအကြောင်းကိုတိုင်ပင်ဆွေးနွေးအဖြေရှာခြင်းဖြင့်ရလဒ်ကောင်းများစွာပေါ်ထွက်လာလိမ့်မည်လို့လည်းအပြည့်အဝယုံကြည်ပါတယ်။လွန်ခဲ့တဲ့နှစ်ပေါင်း2500ကျော်ကတည်းကပေါ်ထွန်းခဲ့တဲ့ဗုဒ္ဓရဲ့တရားတော်များနှင့်ကျင့်စဉ်များခေတ်ဆက်ဖြတ်သန်းလာခဲ့ပေမဲ့ခေတ်နောက်ကျမနေပဲယနေ့တိုင်းခေတ်နဲ့လိုက်လျောညီတွေရှိနေတယ်ဆိုတာကိုငြင်းဆန်လို့မရနိုင်ပါဘူးဗုဒ္ဓတရားတော်များအလွန်တန်ဖိုးကြီးမားလာပါတယ်ကမ္ဘာမြေပေါ်မှာပျောက်ကွယ်သွားခြင်းကမထိုက်တန်တဲ့တရားတော်များလည်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဗုဒ္ဓတရားတော်များအတိုင်းလိုက်နာကျင့်ကြံနိုင်လေကမ္ဘာသူကမ္ဘာသားလူသားအားလုံးအတွက်သာမကလက်ရှိတ attva မှန်မှန်သမျှအတွက်၎င်းပတ်ဝန်းကျင်လောကကြီးအတွက်၎င်းကောင်းကျိုးများစွာရရှိနေသည်မှာငြင်းဆို၍မရနိုင်ပါဘူး
I firmly believe that upcoming International Buddhist Forum will bring forth many good results by discussing and finding the solution to the challenges of modern Buddhism. Although the Buddhist teaching and practice that appear to 2,500 years ago have been passed down through successive generations, no one can deny that they are still fresh and relevant today. The Dhamma, the Buddhist teaching, is very valuable. It is the doctrine that should not disappear from the world. If you can follow and practice according to the teachings of the Buddha, it can be denied that you will not only benefit the human race, but also all living beings. There will be much benefit for the environment as well.
Buddha မကောင်းတဲ့လုပ်ရတွေကိုမလုပ်သင့်ကြောင်းထောက်ပြခဲ့ပြီးကောင်းတဲ့လုပ်ရတွေကိုလုပ်သင့်ကြောင်းကိုလည်းထောက်ဆဟောပြတော်မူခဲ့ပါတယ်စိတ်ပိုင်းဆိုင်ရာတည်ငြိမ်ရင့်ကျက်နေအတွက်လည်းနီလန်းပေးတော်မူခဲ့ပါတယ်
The Buddha pointed out that we should not do evil deeds and also preached that we should do good deeds. He also expounded the way to achieve mental stability and maturity.
လိုက်နာဆောင်ကျင်တဲ့မကောင်းတဲ့လုပ်ရတွေဖြစ်မတန်ရမခိုးရကာမဂုဏ်မမားရမလိမ်ရအရက်သေးစားမလောင်စားရမူရစေမသုံးရစသည်ဖြင့်တိကျစွာသတ်မှတ်ဖော်ထုတ်ပြတော်မူခဲ့ပါတယ်ဒီဖော်ပြချက်များလောက်လိုက်နာနိုင်လင်ပင် လူတော်လူကောင်းတွေဖြစ်နေပါပြီအခြေခံအားဖြင့်ဒီအချက်တွေကိုမလိုက်နာကြခြင်းကြောင့်လားလောကကြီးမငြိမ်မချမ်းဖြစ်နေတာဟာထင်ရှားလာပါတယ်လောကငြိမ်းချမ်းရေးအတွက်အခြေခံသောချက်တွေကိုထုတ်ဖော်ဟောကြားတော်မူခဲ့ပြီးလောကတိုးတက်ရေးအတွက်လည်းကောင်းကျိုးဖြစ်စေတဲ့ကုသိုလ်လုပ်ငန်းတွေကိုလှုံ့ဆော်ခြင်းကြောင့်ဟောကြားတော်မူခဲ့ပါတယ်အကျဉ်းအားဖြင့်ပေးကမ်းမျှဝေလိုစိတ်ရှိရမယ်စည်းကမ်းဥပဒေလိုက်နာရမယ်စိတ်ပိုင်းဆိုင်ရာတည်ငြိမ်အေးချမ်းရေးလေ့ကျင့်ရမယ်ဆိုတဲ့ချက်၃ချက်ကိုလှုံ့ဆော်တဲ့ကောင်းတဲ့လုပ်ရတွေအဖြစ်ဟောကြားတော်မူခဲ့ပါတယ်ဒီမူပေါင်း၃ချက်မလွတ်စေပဲလူမှုရေးစီးပွားရေးမြည်သည့်အရေးကိုမဆိုကြိုးစားလုပ်ကိုင်ဆောင်ရွက်ကြမယ်ဆိုရင်လောကကြီးဟာတိုးတက်သာယာနေမှာအသေးချာဖြစ်ပါတယ်
The Buddha clearly pointed out the actions or deeds we should avoid, namely not to kill, not to steal, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to tell lies, not to take intoxicating drinks and drugs, etc. If one can observe these moral aspects, one will become a good human being. Basically, it is obvious that the world is not at peace because people do not follow these points. The Buddha expounded the basic key factors for the world peace and also preached that we should do good or wholesome deeds for the progress and betterment of the world. In brief, the Buddha preaches three things as good deeds that should be done. One must be willing to give and share, must abide by rules and regulations, and must practice for mental stability and peace. Without missing these three frameworks, if you work hard on any matter, social or economic, the world will be prosperous and peaceful for sure.
စိတ်ဓာတ်တည်ငြိမ်ရင်းကျက်ရေးဟာအရေးကြီးဆုံးအဆင့်ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဘုရားတရားတော်များအားလုံးဟာစိတ်ဓာတ်တည်ငြိမ်ရင်းကျက်ရေးအတွက်ကြီးဥတည်ထားတာကိုတွေ့ရပါတယ်မကောင်းတဲ့လုပ်ရက်တွေမလုပ်ဘဲရှောင်ကျဉ်တာလည်းစိတ်ဓာတ်တည်ငြိမ်ရင်းကျက်ရေးအတွက်ဖြစ်သလိုကောင်းတဲ့လုပ်ရက်တွေလှုံ့ဆော်ခြင်းဟာလည်းစိတ်ဓာတ်တည်ငြိမ်ရင်းကျက်ရေးအတွက်ဖြစ်ပါတယ်
The mental stability and maturity is the most important step. All of the Buddha's teaching aimed at achieving mental stability and maturity. Avoiding evil deeds or not doing them is for mental stability and maturity. And performing or doing good deeds is also for mental stability and maturity.
စိတ်ပိုင်းဆိုင်ရာယောဂများစိတ်ညစ်နွမ်းခြင်းစိတ်ဓာတ်ကြခြင်းသင်္ကေစိတ်ဝင်ခြင်းစသည်ဖြင့်လူသားလောကမှာတွေ့ကြုံရလေရှိပါတယ်ဒီလိုမျိုးစိတ်ပိုင်းဆိုင်ရာယောဂများသက်သာပြောင်းကင်းစေရန်အတွက်သမထဝိပဿနာတစ်မျိုးမျိုးလေ့ကျင့်ခြင်းဖြင့်သက်သာပြောင်းကင်းစေပါတယ်ဒီနည်းလမ်းကိုလည်းဗုဒ္ဓကစနစ်တကျဖော်ထုတ်ပြသတော်မူခဲ့ပါတယ်ဗုဒ္ဓရဲ့လမ်းညွှန်ခြင်းအတိုင်းလိုက်နာကျင့်ကြံနိုင်ပါကစိတ်ပိုင်းဆိုင်ရာတည်ငြိမ်အေးချမ်းမှုရရှိလာပါတယ်စိတ်ဓာတ်ကြံ့ခိုင်လာသည်နှင့်လာသည့်အပြင်ဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာဝင်တို့၏ရည်မှန်းချက်ပန်းနိုင်ဖြစ်တဲ့နိဗ္ဗာန်အထိရောက်ရှိနိုင်ပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်နိဗ္ဗာန်အငြိမ့်တရအောင်ကြိုးစားအားထုတ်ကျင့်ကြံနိုင်ကြပါစေလို့ဆန္ဒပြုဆုတောင်းရင်ဆရာတော်၏အဖွင့်ဩဝါဒကထာညီကုန်းချုံးလိုက်ပါတယ်အားလုံးကျမ်းမာချမ်းသာကြပါစေကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်
In the world nowadays, the people encounter the mental disorder such as mental defilements, depression, and inferiority complex. This kind of mental diseases can be healed or cured by practicing either tranquility meditation, samatha, or insight meditation, vipassana. The Buddha systematically revealed this method. If you can follow and practice according to the Buddha's guidance, there will be mental stability and peace. In addition to being mentally strong, one can realize nirvana, which is the ultimate goal of the Buddhists. Therefore, in conclusion, I would like to make a wish that the people can work hard to attain the real peace of nirvana. May all be well and happy. Thank you for your kind attention.
Гостей и участников приветствует уважаемый Капчтамбрал Чеченца.
Now the guests will be addressed by Honorable Khamchab. The speaker from Mongolia. All lamas, I wish you all, dear participants of the event, now we are having a presenter who is speaking to us from Mongolia. The head of Central Mongolian Buddhist Gandan Tujidren Monastery will read the welcome address for Hambo Nomun Han Demondon Joizom, who offers a welcoming address for Dambe Lama Ayudaishev, the 24th Pandita Hamba Lama, all the scholars and monks who came to the International Buddhist Forums. I wish you peace in this day. I would like to apologize for not being able to participate in this International Buddhist Forum because I am organizing the event that focuses on 100th anniversary since the birth of former head of our monastery, Mr. Gadan. I'm happy that the forum is an important event for the discussion of wide range of issues, including peace in the world, the Buddhist culture, education, the sustainable development, the ways of cooperation with scholarly organization. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for organizing this international event. Now, we thank our international guests and guests from other parts of Russia, a fruitful and successful work. Thank you all very much for your presentations. And we wish the participants, the guests from foreign countries and provinces of Russia, to hold successful work at the sessions of the forum, so that the land washed by the shores of Lake Baikal, Republic of Buryatia, is the center of Russian Buddhism. We have beautiful Sayane mountains here. We are the land of Arshana hot springs. This is a place where over 100 ethnic groups live together in just one province. We share the same land and the same destiny. And today, every single person who lives in Buryatia welcomes you all.
Уважаемые друзья, дорогие гости, мы начинаем пленарную сессию. На сцену возвращается модератор пленарной сессии, ректор Бурятского государственного университета имени Даржи-Банзарова Алдар Валерьевич Дамдинов.
Dear friends, we start in our plenary session and we would like to give a floor to moderator of the plenary session, Damdinov Aladar, who is the president of Buryatsky State University.
Буддизм – самая древняя из 3 мировых религий. Его исповедуют люди всех континентов, национальностей и рас. По разным оценкам, на сегодняшний день численность населения в буддийском мире достигает 3 миллиардов человек. Странами, в которых буддизм выступает основой их культурно-исторического развития, являются Китай, Бутан, Вьетнам, Индия, Камбоджа, Лаос, Монголия, Мьянма, Непал, Таиланд, Шри-Ланка, Япония, государство Корейского полуострова. Россия с полным правом может быть причислена к этому ряду. Буддизм – это не только религиозное знание и практика. Он воплощает в себе множество различных аспектов жизненного опыта человечества. Век назад известный немецкий социолог Макс Вебер скептически отзывался о потенциале буддизма как пути к экономическому развитию и процветанию. На сегодня буддийские страны демонстрируют выдающиеся успехи в сфере экономики. Их совокупный ВВП составляет примерно 55 триллионов долларов, или более 50% от всей мировой экономики. Именно со странами буддийского мира в последние годы растет торгово-экономическое сотрудничество России. Важную роль здесь играет и тот факт, что за редким исключением буддийские страны не присоединились к антироссийским санкциям, продемонстрировав тем самым самостоятельную, взвешенную, независимую позицию. Буддийские творцы, мыслители и художники, скульпторы и архитекторы внесли огромный вклад в мировую культуру, создав шедевры, вошедшие в мировое, духовное, нематериальное наследие человечества. Буддийское искусство подарило миру творения невероятной силы, от древних статуй Гандхары до современного стрит-арта. Буддийские монастыри в течение тысячелетий являлись ядром буддийской цивилизации, были центрами философской мысли.
Ты же, по-моему, высылал, да? Ты, по-моему, высылал, да?
Я высылал, но на английском, на русском только. На русском языке. Сейчас просто посмотрю.
Большинство из них придерживаются традиции
на русском
Гукпа и проживают в Бурятии, Калмыкии и Туве. Бурятия – это самая северная точка распространения тибето-монгольской традиции буддизма. Его история насчитывает здесь свыше 1000 лет. Кочевники Великой Степи смогли принять миролюбивое учение и, невзирая на сложные исторические этапы, сохранить древнее буддийское наследие. Республика Бурятия – центр российского буддизма. В Бурятии сегодня возрождены все исторические монастыри, строятся новые храмы, в них приходит множество верующих. Буддийская традиционная самха России в течение многих лет осуществляет международную деятельность, налаживает многосторонние контакты с буддийскими общинами в разных странах. В Бурятии действует буддийский университет имени Дамбата Жазаяева, в котором обучаются студенты со всей России, постигая глубины буддийского учения и практики. Несмотря на тысячелетия истории, буддизм сегодня – это живая традиция, и он представляет множество вариантов ответов на вызовы современности, находя для каждого нуждающегося свои искусные средства. Буддизм притягивает миллионы людей глубиной своих знаний в медицине, астрономии, языкознании, искусстве, архитектуре. Буддийские практики медитации выступают средством от психологических проблем, стрессов современного мира.
Начинаем пленарную сессию. Модератора пленарной сессии, ректора Бурятского государственного университета Алдар Валерьевич Мамдинов.
Moderator of this session will be the president of Banzarov, Buryatsky State University, Damdinov, Aldar Damdinov. Dear participants of the forum, on behalf of all the participants, I would like to congratulate you with the opening of the International Buddhist Forum. We would like to welcome you to the Buryatia. Here the representatives of various countries gathered together to share their experience, to consolidate their efforts in the field of education and science. Buddhism is one of the traditional religions in Russia, has become the foundation and cornerstone for establishment of accord and peace in the Russian Federation, the religion of justice, of wisdom, and of kindness, which are the foundation for the Russian society. It's very important that all participants of the forum will come to the common ground and come to understanding traditional Buddhism and the modern challenges made us come with the forum address. We, the participants of the International Buddhism and the modern challenges, express our unity in the desire to share our knowledge, experience, and aspiration to achieve peace and harmony as the only right choice for humanity in the name of the common better future. We are here today to openly discuss the topical issues of modern times and Buddhism with its rich traditions and teachings that continue to inspire and transform the lives of millions of people around the world. We are deeply grateful to the Russian organizers of the forum, the Republic of Buryatia and the Buddhist Traditional Sangha of Russia for their noble initiative to create a space of understanding and dialogue imbued with Buddhist spiritual experience. The forum has become a platform for bringing together people of different cultures, nationalities and religious schools who share a common commitment to the search for goodness and truth. During these unforgettable days we will witness and participate in the wonderful exchange of ideas, teachings and practices of Buddhism that take place at this site. Thanks to your diligence and dedication we have the opportunity to enrich our understanding of the Buddhist teachings and the basic application of its principles in daily life. We recognize that Buddhism extends beyond national borders and cultural differences. The forum allowed us to meet people from different countries and traditions, and also confirmed our common belief in the unity and interdependence of all living beings. We deeply appreciate the opportunity to make new connections and develop partnerships which touch a diverse and inspiring community. We also recognize the importance of studying, preserving and continuing the unique traditions and heritage of Buddhism. We call for special attention to the development of educational programs in the field of science and ethics to ensure a safe and prosperous world, and to educating young people on the basis of true spiritual values so that Buddhism wisdom and practice remain accessible to future generations. Through our discussions and exchanges, we have come to realize the importance of cooperation and mutual support in our strive for the peace and prosperity of all beings. We call on all Buddhist organizations and practitioners around the world to come together to expand our efforts in promoting harmony, understanding and compassion. We appeal to all leaders of countries and confessions, to all people of goodwill, to unite our effort to build a safe, just and prosperous world on our planet. With best wishes for peace and prosperity, let us three jewels of Buddhism protect you: Dharma, Sangha and Buddha. Allow me to congratulate you with such a wonderful and meaningful message of the forum. We continue our work, and I would like to invite the members of our panel session at the plenary session today. I would like to invite Deputy Chairman of the State Duma of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation, Mr. Karaol. I would like also to invite President Professor Alexei Maslov, who is the President of the Foundation for the Promotion and Buddhist Education and Research. I would like to invite Dr. Dashibaldanov, who is the President of the Zaev University of Daji Chonbarlin Buddhist University. I would like also to invite Boris Bazarov, who is the Director of Institute of Mongolian Buddhist and Tibetan Studies of the Siberian branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Please welcome Mr. Samaratna Vidnaparatina, First Deputy Minister of Culture and Religion of Buddhist Affairs of Sri Lanka. I would like to invite Mr. Hu Soufan, Deputy Chairman of the Buddhist Association of China, and I would like to ask Mr. Kumar Singh Arvind, the President of the Buddhist Society of India, to come on stage. The representative of Bhutan, and Mr. Tuvan, professor from Vietnam Buddhist Society, former president of Lumbini Foundation, Krinthat Nishaparajan, is kindly invited to join the session as well.
Я диалог буду переводить, вы допереводите просто. Все уже там. Хорошо. Dear colleagues, We have had 8 panel discussions today that has brought together a range of issues of scholarship of Buddhism, that is worldview of Buddhism, the unity of worlds of Buddhism and contemporary society, dialogue and cooperation, Buddhism in contemporary international information society, Buddhism in contemporary international relations, opportunities of Buddhism education in Russia and the world, Buddhist cultural heritage, Buddhism and Eastern medicine, traditions and state of affairs. Now, I would like to suggest we discuss these topics, and if you would allow, the first question I would want to pose is, Shimon Valerievich, I would want to ask you, as the public speaker, what do you think has changed towards traditional Buddhism? Are there new requirements or demands of people towards Buddhism? Of course. It would be, I'm not the most suitable person to speak too much about Buddhism because we have teachers here who have focused their entire life on Buddhism. And from this perspective, I am convinced that Buddhism and its millennia-old history is inexhaustible, and the opportunities offered by this religion, not as it happened 2,500 years ago, but also every time it would collect more and more wisdom. And now I'm convinced that the challenges of time, including our forum, would help us better understand that the Buddhist education will continue. I'm convinced that our discussion and those arguments and ideas we would suggest would be used for the benefit of the religion that we all confess. And as you know, I am convinced that the most important thing, or if you will, the most important challenge that Buddhism would have is not knowledge, it's ignorance. And from this perspective, especially when our country, and we should recognize that we've been living through difficult times when religion was ousted to eliminate from public life. That was the most important danger. It was the most important mistake of the Soviet Union. And I believe that with consideration of the historical stage that it has passed, we should take all efforts to ensure that traditional knowledge and principle of Buddhism, that it would endure, if you will, so that it would be encouragement to the religious figures to avoid allowing to speak on behalf of Buddhism, to give the floor to people who did not receive Buddhism by their soul, by their hearts. And from this perspective, Buddhism is worth going through a specific development, at least here in Russia, so that I would often see that people who unfortunately have the authorities, they wear the monk uniform, but they still discuss Buddhism in a non-educated way. And I believe this to be one of the most important challenges that our religion can confront. And I'm happy to realize that our Sangha, which brings together all of us in Kalmykia, in Tuva, and here in Buryatia, throughout all regions of Russia, now we see the recognition of those masters who profess teaching, who have gone through a certain way, and who are becoming our teachers, who become the people who teach us, give us knowledge on Buddhism, those who themselves who earn this authoritative respect, not in those who are just in the early days, in the beginning. When the Soviet Union came to an end, there has been those people who would fake religion. I would want to focus that. Thank you very much that you have covered the topic of at least 3 panel discussions which covered these topics. And I believe I would now want to give the floor to our dear Professor Maslov, who's the head of the Foundation of Buddhist Teaching and Research. Do you think we have attained the goals? What do you think, sir? I believe our forum is called Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges. We have tried to formulate what are the real challenges and where Buddhism can play a positive role. I'm convinced that today we live in a society in a great flow of information, and it's very difficult to filter out the truth against non-the-truth, not only in Buddhism, in any religion, in any political institution. That means, to distinguish that, people would need to have the knowledge. He or she would need to have a certain level of education. And the first challenge that we have to confront is the quality education for both clergymen and any laymen who care about Buddhism. The second thing is, as another challenge, is the lack of tolerance and patience. The Ahimsa principle is based that I share opinion of other person so much that I would not want to hurt him or her. Unfortunately, this is very difficult to do. You would need to re-educate yourself. That's why the second challenge is the ability to hear each other in politics, education, in economics, in discussions. Today we see that. The third important principle is to raise those who deserve it. Because today, multiple teachers and masters who live in Russia, they're so shy we are not always hear their voices. And one of the more important objectives of the foundation that supports Buddhist education and research is to upbring the best of the literature, publications. We have published 4 books already this year of translations of classical Buddhist publications. We have organized several contests, and we support good universities, including Buryatia State University, Kalmykia State University, Tuva State University. For us, it's very important that Buddhism is not some far, far away Datsan temples. No, that's the unity of Sangha. And the importance of this forum is being able to talk to each other. And we see that, yes, this is possible. What politicians cannot do, we as scholars and Buddhists can do. I think for us it's a great achievement. Thank you very much, Dr. Maslov. This helps us understand that the forum will endure. One of the main organizers is Buddhist Traditional Sangha. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Buryatia was chosen. What is your opinion on this issue?
First of all, the choice of the place, selection of the place, and the choice of the place was done with the purposeful, with the purpose. There were many reasons behind our choice. We wished to conduct the forum here, and the opportunities which were provided by the Republic of Buryatia, and of course the sacred religious meaning is of great importance for us to choose Buryatia and Ulan-Ude as a place for this forum. Today we are finalizing our first day, and tomorrow we are going to visit and pay homage to incorruptible precious body of Hamba Lama Dashi Dorji Etigelov. And by using this opportunity, I would like to explain a little bit how our second day of the forum will be conducted. In 1852, future 12th Pandita Hamba Lama Dashidarji Etigelov was born as a boy. He was living near Ulan-Ude, and later he over 20 years spent in Vaninsky Datsan as a full course of Buddhist studies, and after that he came back to his motherland, to his homeland, and served in many positions as a monk in his monastery. And in 1911 he was chosen 12th, His Holiness 12th Pandita Hamba Lama, and he in 1917, after 7 years of his service, he resigned from his position and professed the Buddhist studies as the scholar and teacher. And then he, starting from 1927 until 2002, he was in he was buried in a special cedar case, and now I would and then in the early 2000, the years of 2000, the decision was made by the Pandita Hamba, current Pandita Pandita Lama, to excavate the precious body of Pandita Hamba Lama Itigelov. Let's have a look at the video. Thank you very much. Thank you. This film, which you have just watched in 2022, the cedar sarcophag was, after it was kept underground for 75 years, was uncovered, and many experts examined the body of Pandita Hambalama Itigelov, and they found that remains of his body remains the signs of a living body, such as elastic skin and mobility of joints. There were no any scars or any signs on the body after such a long period of 75 years when the cedar sarcophagus was kept underground, and all Buddhist scholars and scientists came to a conclusion that headed by Professor Professor Zvyagintsev, they have introduced a new terminology with regard to the incorruptible body of the 12th Pandita Hambalama Dashidoja Tigilov, a living incorruptible body. And tomorrow we are going to visit Ivolginsky Datsan, and we are going to discuss and study his messages which he left, and his teaching which he obtained while being in the state of meditation. Every day we receive the messages from Hamba Lama devoted to various topics of our life. We are not able to understand all of them. There are over 300 of messages annually delivered by the incorruptible spirit of the 12th Pandita Hambalama Dashidojo Itigelov. We are going to talk about at the discussion panels tomorrow at Ivolginsky Datsan various issues with regard to this phenomenon, There will be the open dialogue. We will immerse into discussions and interpretations of the precious heritage of the 12th Pandita Hamba Lama, Dashi Dorjo Itigelov. Today, during our at the panel discussions, we discussed such areas as education and studies, and our Reverend Professor Bazarov, who is the head of the Institute of Mongolian, Tibetan, and Buddhist Studies of the Russian Academy of Sciences, is with us today, and I would like to ask you, what are the areas of studies for pursued by your institute? I know that many scholars and experts from your institute participate in the forum. What are the perspectives for the Buddhist studies development in your institute? Dear participants of the forum, I would like to start my short presentation with the statement that if people want to understand each other, it doesn't matter on what language they speak. If people want to understand each other, they will inevitably come to a solution, come to a decision. But when people stop to communicate with each other, when they interrupt the human dialogue, that's where the problem starts to emerge. Our dialogue within the Buddhist global community is focused on creation of unique space, unique for our common understanding, for our mutual and multilateral dialogue, and we wish to make it more firm. And this process, specifically under the condition of geopolitical disturbances which we are facing today, our institute, which celebrated 100th anniversary since it was established, was prime witness of all the historical and political events which took place in our country. The civil war in the 1920s, the process of losing the roots and heritage of a cultural heritage in post-revolution years during, but we made we made our best to preserve the heritage, and at the time of hostile atheism, the founders of our institute were wise men, were bright scholars who were fantastically educated, who knew the culture of the neighboring countries. Bazar Maradin, who was Gambazhat Tsivikov, who were the founders of our institute and who covered the way, started from the Buddhist pilgrim and other prominent scholars who devoted all their lives to preservation and keeping the heritage and the tradition. They laid the foundation for the development of Buddhology and Tibetan studies, all which in the last years have started to develop themselves in a more progressive way. Our Institute for Mongolian Buddhist and Tibetan Studies is the main scientific and educational institution which is responsible for storage and keeping and studying ancient manuscripts. Many of them require further studies. Our collection of Asian manuscripts is still waiting for their researching of over 100,000 units of Asian manuscripts. Only 10% are translated into Russian. Many the big canon treatises have not been translated to full extent. If we talk about the medical treatises devoted to Tibetan medicine and Buddhist medicine, some of them were translated, but a lot of work is still ahead of us. I hope that with the help of the Foundation of Promotion of Education and Research, we will finally publish the Tibetan atlas, medical atlas. I am, as a president of the foundation, confirm our willingness and desire to assist you in that. So, the Atlas of Tibetan Medicine is one of the ancient manuscripts which we keep in our collection, in our diary, in our library, and sooner or later we will inevitably come to an understanding that we will have to resume the normal dialogue, and which we are looking for, and because we are losing a lot during the fast development of technological innovations. One of the major steps in our new development is the study of the Asian manuscript with the aid of artificial intelligent devices. We have big plans for continuing studying our collection of our Asian manuscript. We would like to thank all the participants in our conferences, in our scientific conferences, where we discuss complex themes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I hope that we'll continue the discussion. We also have representatives of 14 countries of Buddhism with us. We thank you for all of you to come here. Thank you very much for participating from coming far away. Thank you for discussing our agenda with you. And I want to speak to the representative of Sri Lanka, First Deputy Minister of Culture and Religion, Mr. Savamatha Bidarantayana. We speak about traditional Buddhism and modern challenges. What do you think are the global challenges. Which of them are the more difficult ones? Уважаемые гости,
So, we especially with our our Buddha says, is a 5 moral fetish concept. This is the clean, this prohibited 4 items that we call for Panchasila. That we start in the whole world is pending in the Panchasila. We practice in the Panchasila. We have no problem in our world. So it's a Panchasila, and then we have to, Lord Buddha says, it's 4 marga. That is Dukkha, Samudaya, Nibbana, and Marga. That is our 4 main paths. So we have to show with 8 subjects: Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vayama, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, and Samma Vayama, and Samma Samadhi, and Samma Samahadi. That is our philosophy for the all Buddhism. So in that case, we that traditional Buddhism and the modern challenges. We discuss is especially modern challenges. In Sri Lanka, we have 30 years of war in the ethnic problem. So now is to overcome our Buddhist ties. So this especially we challenge in modern challenges Buddhism. So socio-economic regions and political conflicts over the world. That first thing, and that drugs and human smuggling. That's also we have to bear. That bribery and corruption, then abuse of women and child, and disciplinary family, not the discipline, but that incorporation in family life. Then this is economic crisis also. This last year we crisis economies. That's also with some challenges to Buddhism. So political that interference, that also we have. And that's so many challenges we have faced. In this collapse occurs economy and sociology and cultural values. So disaster that comments that overcome these challenges, we have to face that, especially this building interrelation, co-resistance, stable should be start from the children. Our government in Sri Lanka, especially our Sri Lankan government, started that core value, started how to create in the school level and Dhampasa level. So, and the formulation of religions and international community representing of the all religions. This in Sri Lanka is a multinational country. It's the main is a Buddhist and Muslim and Hindus and Catholics also there. So we are very, very cooperation and religious as well as economic and others. We are working together. So the political and empower of the economic, religious and social, cultural aspect. So then the main thing, our in the Dham school, we have to start from the, we can't elaborate that elders. We have to start from our children to Dham school. That Sri Lankan government realized that situation, so overcome this problem to start the school level. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое, господин Самаратна. Вы только что увеличили количество тем.
Thank you very much, sir. You have elaborated on the topics that we would want to cover in the next future. We have people from China here, a large delegation from China, and I would want to talk to Hu Xuefeng. Sir, you are the representative of largest communities around the world, and you represent one of major religions in China. We all see how actively China is developing. What is the impact of Buddhism on the contemporary development of China? Как переключить на китайский? На русский. На русский.
各位嘉宾，今天很荣幸，因缘殊胜，因为佛教是在中国有很多的历史，因为中国传统文化，儒家、道家、佛家，儒家仁义礼智信治社会，道家是治身体，佛家是治心，因为中国所以发挥佛教的正能量。 教化心灵，对社会的和谐、家庭的和睦做出应有的贡献，尤其对。
The great strengths in Chinese culture. Which is why we can speak about the fact that Buddhism. Buddhists think that all difficulties and happiness of people come from ourselves, and with the good practices we can eliminate them. That is why for China, in the contemporary situation, Buddhism is very important. And I would also like to point out that Buddhism in China is going through the changes in accordance with the tradition, and Buddhism has made a major impact on the development of China and the development of happiness of people of all parts of the world. I would now want to. We see the development of China in India, and I would want to ask, what sort of Buddha impact does Buddhism make in India, and what role does it play in Indian society?
And asking me this particular question, India's role in development of Buddhism. So first I would like to say that I came from the land of Buddha, and addressing the audience here, the new emerging land of Buddhism, that is Buryatya. So here India's role is that Buddhism was born and brought up and even nurtured in Indian territory and Indian land. And then, after nurturing of the philosophy taught by the Buddha, it has been started to disseminate from India to different parts of the world. Then, the masters have played a major role. At that time, the Indian society has a very well-established monastic education system, like Nalanda Mahavihar, Vikramshila Mahavihar, Taxila, even Taxila, which were earlier than these two universities, and they have nurtured our Indian traditional philosophy and culture. From here, it started to disseminate, or Buddhism started to spread its wings to different parts of the world. It went to almost all of Southeast Asia, and then to here, Central Asia, China, Mongolia, Japan, and Korea. In all this dissemination, Indian masters have played a major role. Here, I have heard about some sessions in the morning. Nobody had discussed about the role of India in dissemination of Buddhism in different parts of the world. Even when the Buddhism from Mongolia and Tibet came to this Buryatya region, it has indirect role of India also. So India was the land of Buddhism, where Buddhism was born and nurtured, and then it is spread into different parts of the world. So India can play a major role, like it has a very good and significant number of Buddhist heritage sites. And Indian government these days trying to promote Buddhism as soft power diplomacy. Soft power diplomacy means promoting Buddhism or Buddhist teachings through addressing the social aspect, which is the topic of today's conference, the modern challenges. So through this soft power, India can play through the teachings of the Buddha to address those issues and spread it to different parts of the world. Like through we can organize some conference. I'm giving you one example. I came to Russia in 2018 also, in St. Petersburg. There I was again a part of Indian delegation, but none of the delegation member knows about Buddhism in Russia. When I presented my paper, they are surprised. After that, again I have not heard anything about Buddhism in Russia. But 6 months or 7 months back, International Buddhist Confederation has organized one conference under the banner of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, in which shared Buddhist heritage was the main topic, and there again I have heard a lot of scholars who discuss about Russian Buddhism, particularly the Golden Triangle, Kalmykia, Tuva and Buryatia. So this way, India can play a major role in spread of Buddha's teachings and also addressing the modern challenges through those teachings. Thank you very much.
Да. Спасибо большое. Я думаю, что как раз Бурятия станет местом, площадкой для встреч.
Thank you very much. Buryatia will do its best to become a platform and venue for meeting Buddhists from all over the world, and we would like to thank you for your support. I would like to address the chief monk of the Bhutan Kingdom, Bhutan is the first country which started to measure the happiness, the national happiness per capita on a national scale. And I would like to ask you, how does Buddhism influence the happiness, a happy life? Прежде всего, я бы хотел поблагодарить Российскую Федерацию за приглашение.
This conference, I'd like to convey the message of love and regards from people of Bhutan. I think you know that Bhutan is a very small country who really, that our moderators say, who believe in the GNH, which means that not domestic GDP, we measure the needs of the people and the values of people through the gross national happiness. That's how it was coined by our fourth king, King Jimmy Singh Wangchu in 1972. That makes the policy of the country based on the Mahayana Buddhism, on the values and happiness and containment of the people, the containment of the system.
Я чувствую себя очень радостным от того, что буддизм развивается здесь, что в стране Хамбаламы, из-за его мудрости, и мы можем чувствовать его присутствие в бурятской земле. И мы знаем, что Бурятия является очень важным.
You have the wisdom, you have the teachings, and Buddhism being the oldest wonderful philosophy and religion, I think we have to play a very important role. Not just practicing. Message has to be conveyed. Recently, I attended a global summit in India. The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, gave a very supportive and inspiring message to the leaders of the global world, the Buddhist leaders. Today, I received, and we are listening very carefully, the message of the President of Russia, Mr. Putin, and the Prime Minister of Russia. That shows there's a big support from a big country. You cannot give a responsibility to a small people like us. We are here to learn, practice, and teach. It's like giving the climate control or climate changes responsibility to a small country like Bhutan and a big country as having big industries. We cannot do anything, how much we try. Likewise, we small leaders, Buddhist leader of a small country cannot do. We need a big country like India and Russia. and we thank them to supporting us. We feel strong in the sense that we can convey the world. We can change the world through the philosophy of love and compassion. That is the idea of Buddhism. Conversion of the mind to the positive way, positive method, which we really emphasize mostly on the love and compassion. Whatever advices you say, at the end, it is the practice in the world. As our friend from India said, India has been started the soft diplomacy. We need that. We need from a great country like India. We need support from the Federation of Russia so that the corporate world, political world can change and implement the policy of love and compassion. Our country, Bhutan, we tried. Our king implement the gross national happiness. And if you come to our country, you'll find most of us are smiling, not because we have just smile, we are happy. We are contented. So I think this is the one great message that today from this Buddhist forum, we get a message from Russia, from the Buddha, saying that we are here with you. You do it, your responsibility. And I like to thank every leaders of different countries performing their responsibility till now and further. Thank you.
Большое спасибо за такие вдохновляющие слова. Большое thank you very much. Уважаемый господин Tuan Tuan, наш директор Института изучения религии Вьетнамской академии.
Tuan from the Vietnamese Academy of Sciences. Would you please tell us what are the main directions of the research of your Institute for Religious Studies with regard to Buddhism?
This speaker is speaking the language for which we do not provide translation. Говорит на языке, на который не предоставляется перевод.
很有认真。我们呢有2位，我跟那个我们的同。就是王文trung博士。我们就是在越南是一个。
Все хорошо, все идет. Все идет, все хорошо. Оригинал переключитесь. Контроль.
Все.
Так он на вьетнамском говорит.
На китайском он говорит.
We have 4 institutes under the umbrella of our academy. We specialize in studying Buddhism teachings not only as the discipline. In our research institutes, we have very prominent Buddhologists who work in the field of Buddhist research. We accept master degree students and PhD students who also study study other religions which are represented in our country, in Vietnam. The major interest towards the the birth of the Buddhism in our country is a major field of studies of our PhD and master degree students. As during our discussions at the forum, Buddhism in Vietnam has its peculiar characteristics. It coexists peacefully with other beliefs and religions, and Buddhism has greatly influenced many other beliefs which are widespread in Vietnam. We do our best to employ the modern means of distribution to widespread the studies of Buddhism among the young people, but we also rely on our old proven methods of widespreading the Buddha's teaching and Buddha's studies on a national on a national scale basis. I would like to thank all the participants and thank all our friends and our scholars, Buddhologists from Russia, with whom we would like to establish more cooperative ties in order to exchange scientific and research results of our academic endeavors, and to learn how Buddhism is influencing the lives of our people in the modern age. I also would like to underscore the fact that even my friends who are not scholars or Buddhologists very often discuss the various issues of Buddhism. Thank you very much, and I wish you success and prosperity. I would, of course, I would like to give a floor to our friend from Nepal. We've heard about the development endeavors and efforts of Lumbini Development Foundation in Nepal, and maybe you can add up some few words of how the Buddhism is developed nowadays in Nepal.
Not to do any evil deeds, to accumulate, to do the meritorious deeds, and purify one's mind. This is the main teaching of Lord Buddha. Most Venerable Mahasangha, distinguished guests, speakers, honorable ministries, excellencies, and dear Dhamma brothers and sisters. It is a very Dhamma pleasure to me to be part of today's August gathering. Once again, on behalf of Nepali team, I would like to heartily congratulate for the hosting such a grand event in this wonderful country. I'm representing from Nepal, where the holiest person, the greatest man who ever lived in this earth, Lord Buddha, was born in Lumbini, the fountain of world peace. And also our country is very small, but the top of the world, the Mount Everest, is stand in our country. So we are between a very tiny, small country between India and China. And we came here quite far away in this wonderful country in Russia, in Buryatia. And we are very happy and glad to associate and meet such a grand masters, the monastic sanghas, the scholars in Buryatia. So it is a very wonderful message that we participate in today's this International Buddhist Forum, Traditional Buddhism and Modern Challenges. Buddha's teaching is forever a universal teaching. So in this August gathering, we share our ideas, view, and opinion. So during our morning session, we share our ideas that we are facing in modern life. We are facing so many complicated, challenging, so many obstacles in day-to-day life. We are facing personal egos, personal anger in our life. In our family, we are facing a lot of economic, financial problem due to pandemic and due to many disasters and calamities. And also we are facing the climate changing, global warming, and ecological problem. So these are, I think, day by day, every person and every country are facing three ego: personal ego, family economic, and global challenging as an ecology. To solve and overcome from these three ego, we have to, we have to perform and observe according to Buddha's teaching. If we follow Sila as a morality, Samadhi as a concentration, and the wisdom as a Panya, then we can easily overcome from these kind of challenges. So I would like to share my opinion that if we observe precept morality, then we will be a real human being. And if we practice and develop according to Buddha's teaching, concentration level, then we will be a real human being. And once when we achieve the Panya wisdom, we will be overcome from ignorance and attachment, then we will be a noble, perfect person. So, according to Buddha's teaching, for modern challenge, if we perform, and Buddhism is not only for philosophy, Buddhism is not only for religion, Buddha's teaching is the way of life, the art of living. So if we perform according to Buddha's teaching, there are 4 sublime teachings as a Brahma Vihara: Metta as a loving kindness, if we share loving kindness, if we share Karuna, compassion, if we share altruistic joy as a Mudita, and if we share and practice about equanimity as a Upekha, then all sorts of, the challenging obstacle will be overcome, and we may be able to free from all kind of suffering. So in this context, we are very happy and glad, as we are a small country from Nepal, and on behalf of Nepalese Buddhist Society, we would like to heartily congratulating for hosting such a international Buddhist forum in Buryatia. So I would like to thank Government of Republic of Buryatia and Government of Russian Federation for your outstanding contribution in this modern time. Once again, on behalf of Nepalese team, we would like to pay gratitude for your warm welcoming, and also for your wonderful hospitality, and also for your kind cooperation. I hope that we, all the Buddhist sect and school, we have to unify. It is time to take off for the contribute and welfare for human being. Thank you. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam.
Большое спасибо, Досточтимый Хикшу. Это на самом деле вдохновляющие слова. Федерация, говорящие о сохранении традиций.
These are very important words, and it's actually that was stated in the Russian Constitution. This relates to our topic. I thank you all, dear participants, for your ideas and content that let 3 jewels germs protect you. Dear participants of the forum, now we finish the first day of our forum. We have discussed important topics, gotten introduced to each other, we've gotten close, and today our society has established I thank you all for coming here today, for sharing your opinions. I thank our the head of the president of Buryatia, Mr. Tsamburov, so that he will receive that. We have 2 days of work to come, and that will be filled with important events and meetings. I thank you all for these fruitful discussions. I wish you all peace, love to you and all of your family members. Thank you so much. Вот эта штука немного сложнее, чем наша. Бошевское оборудование, которое у нас есть,
Ну, то было лучше, да, по-моему?
Нет, это то же самое, что и было. Наше ДВФУ, бошевское.
Нет, а мы которым пользовались там?
То же самое.
А наушники другие?
Наушники другие, а оборудование тоже.
Наушники, оборудование хорошее, да. Наушники,
Да
кстати.
я не про наушники говорю, я про вот эту эргономику, неудобная эргономика.
Неудобная?
Ну, все время приходится вызывать.
Ну, какой-то да, есть определенное. Я имею в виду, что у нас лучше. Это
у нас ДВФУ бошевское оборудование.
Ну да. А это?
А это непонятно.
Это Sennheiser. Это GBL. А нет, GTS. Ты все, да, где? Что-то не забыть зарядку. А?
За сумкой штат у нас.
Ну что-то оно даже стало отказывать.
Я зарядился, вы про это говорите?
А?
Я не понял, что вы... Если вы про зарядку...